want to introduce myself. My name is Jasmine with Sessions with Jazz, my brand. And I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to interview you because you have been inspiring me in the entertainment industry, just interviewing celebrity artists, giving content. So I want to say I appreciate you just for that, just doing what you love to do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yep. I
You're
love doing it. You know, when you love doing when you do what you love doing, it don't feel like work. So,
hmm right. So I want to get into it to where so your season 2 is out, has been out for on December 2nd, started out. So what can we expect for this season?
yeah, this is season 3. I think with season 3, you're going to see more Jason Lee, more candid conversations, bigger stars. You know, I want to stay on the pulse of what's happening. You know, as much as I like talking to big names, I also like talking to the names that people are talking about whenever it's time to talk.
hmm
And what we've been trying to do with this season is have conversations with people that matter. We started with Kevin Hart. Started talking a lot about, you know, our relationship, how we've worked to mend the relationship and really establish a bridge where Black celebrities at his status can feel comfortable talking to us, and you know,
hmm
all feel obligated to share each other's platforms so that way we can all grow together. Comment on the breakup with Tiffany Haddish, and then this yesterday we interviewed Jada Chavez, who's an entrepreneur, but she's a momtrepreneur. She has a child with a little baby, and so she
hmm
never does interviews. She gave us a really good interview. So just continuing to grow, and we're moving into a new space. I just launched Hollywood Unlocked Studios. What
hmm
launches January 1st, and so I'll be doing in-person interviews again. So it's what my fans like to see. They like to see me interacting with people. So I can't wait.
Yes, and I wanted to touch on that with the new studio. So, like, tell us more about it. Like, what can I know we expecting in-person interviews, but what else? Like, what you want the creatives to get out of it when they book your studios? What do you want them as an overall?
Yeah, I mean, it's a space for sure where people can rent, you know, to be able to create their own brands. I mean, I created Hollywood Unlocked really from Instagram and then a podcast.
hmm
And so being able to create that space, have my staff there who have helped build Hollywood Unlocked, to be able to serve as a resource, but then also to have additional equipment that they can use if they want to be able to film it, if they want to be able to have the right lighting kit,
Right.
you know, if they want to have the right, you know, aesthetic, but also, you know, it's top of the line. We have ballet, we have,
hmm
you know, space that we're going to be having events there. So that way we can bring creatives like me, Charlemagne and Angela and other people who are broadcasters successful at it into the folks where they can start having just face-to-face time with
hmm
people who have actually built their careers. And then this really is coming before my courses, but I've already started developing. My courses are done on how to build a successful blog and podcast, because there's people like you and other people who are more successful than me that still are like maybe struggling with how to evolve the brand. And some
hmm
people do not know where to start it. So I put it all into a course that I'm going to provide people, you know, the opportunity to buy.
Yes, and so let's go into to where, like, for instance, creatives like me that want to not be just like you, but want to be like have a big brand to come about. So do you have any advice for entrepreneurs, bloggers, anyone that wants to get in your footsteps in the future?
Yeah, I mean, first, invest in yourself, right?
Mhm.
The course that I'm developing is an investment for you. It's not for me. I already figured out. I've already made the money. I'm making more money. I have more partnerships. You know, now it's my opportunity to give back, but it's not a giveaway. It's something that it's an investment opportunity for you. So I would say for sure when the courses come up, everything from trademarking your IP to developing your niche, strategizing, leveraging your haters, figuring out how to network, how to
Mhm.
become a power player, it's all in there. The other thing I would say is, you know, have something relevant to talk about that people want to hear. Oftentimes, I think the space becomes crowded with a lot of noise, and it's sifting
Mhm.
through that noise and being able to find your content that stands out. And the courses are going to show you how to do that.
Right. And so with like starting Hollywood Unlocked, so what made you want to start doing your own brand in regards to, just being up under different publications?
I don't want to work for nobody else. I don't want to be told when to get up. I don't want to be told when to go to sleep. I don't want to be told what days I'm on or I'm off. I don't want to be told what stories I can write or not write. I don't want to be told how to write the story. I want to be in complete control of my life.
Mhm.
I want to be happy, and I want to be able to make as much money as I want. I don't want to be told a cap. And I just had to figure it out, because ultimately I knew that I had a gift that I wanted to give to the world. And that's just a
Mhm.
different point of view. And when I realized that people actually liked me for just my opinions, I'm like, yo, shit,
Mhm.
I could do this all day long. And I
Right.
fell in love. And I fell in love with it because, think about it. People hate their 9 to 5s. So what's the
Mhm.
option? Trade it in for 24/7. So I'm on 20. If I'm awake, I'm working.
Right. And so how did you come up with the name Hollywood Unlocked?
I felt like there was like something missing. There were so many people who thought they knew what was happening in Hollywood,
Mhm.
but you just didn't know. I would be at places and in environment spaces where things were happening that I would see a story and be like, that isn't what happened. Like, this is
Mhm.
what happened, right? Or I'd have celebrity friends who were going through shit. And I'm like, yo, like, you need somebody you can talk to. And I thought, well, why don't we pull the veil back on Hollywood? Why don't we unlock
Right.
Hollywood and let people see it for what it really is on the inside? And that's how
Mhm.
Hollywood Unlocked came about.
Yes. And so, what is your favorite interview that you have done so far by starting season one to now?
Well, I mean, there's so many interviews. I mean, one of my favorite interviews I always say was Jennifer Lewis. I had
Mhm.
my first interview with Jennifer Lewis. It was so transparent, so candid, so electric that it encouraged me and motivated me to write my own book.
Mhm.
I would say I mean, interviewing Amber Rose where we had all that conflict and we had to get
Yeah.
into it. Cardi B, who I was a big fan of before we became friends, I was a fan of hers. And then, here she was hot on the scene. But I've interviewed so many people that I've enjoyed. I've talked to Maxine Waters, who I respect. I've talked to Al Sharpton. I've interviewed
Mhm.
a GOAT. I've interviewed a small person, different types of trans
Mhm.
people. I've interviewed a lot of people. And I would say Jennifer Lewis is definitely up there. And this season so far, I think Kevin Hart, because it was just a full circle moment where we were on such opposite sides of the spectrum when it came to how we see each other. And to be
Mhm.
able to come together and have a conversation that built the bridge, I thought was really good. So, yeah.
Okay. And tell us more about the book that you just recently, get in there, like just did a little touch about.
This is
Yeah.
the book. The book
Yeah.
is God Must Have Forgotten About Me. It's a book I wrote at a time where I felt like was going through so much with my family, and there were so many questions being brought to me. Like, how did you do this? Or how did you work through that? Or how did you work through this? And then I wanted to start shedding the mental and physical weight. And so
Mhm.
I felt like putting it in a book would not only help me, but also help other people who are going through similar stuff. And when I wrote the book, the feeling all the way through it was, damn, this is somebody who felt helpless and felt forgotten. And
Mhm.
I know there were times when I questioned God, and I'm sure there are people going through hard times that are questioning God. So the idea of God must have forgotten about me came about. And then of course, when you read it, you realize that like he's there with you all the time.
Right. And so I want to ask you this. Um, like, can you tell me any more special guests amongst Common, Kevin Hart, or will there be any more special guests on the season three?
Tiffany Haddish is coming. Cardi
Mhm.
B is coming back to the show.
Mhm.
I want to interview Offset from the Migos because he has a story that hasn't been told yet, and I just want to show this other side of him. I definitely want to figure out how to interview Christian Louboutin because Christian Louboutin is a friend of mine, but he's also so dynamic, and people may not know he's a Black man. He is Egyptian.
Mhm.
And he's just so dope and funny and artistically creative. But I want to open up the conversation to a lot of people. I can't say that Rihanna's coming on this season, but I know that she and I have been talking about doing an interview with Mariah Carey, and I've been talking. So I look forward to
Yeah.
having these conversations.
Yes. And so, well, my last question is, what can we expect from 2022, the first quarter of 2022 from you?
Well, I mean, you're going to see the launch of my courses on how to build a successful blog and podcast.
Mhm.
You're going to see the
Mhm.
opening and launch of the Hollywood Unlocked Studios. You're going to see me make some really big moves in radio. And
Mhm.
then I think you're going to start seeing me pop up in a lot more spaces that you haven't, like daytime broadcast television. And I want to create more content too. So this year I hosted the Baddies ATL on Zeus Network, and then
Hmm.
I produced a conversation with Bobby Lights and Roland Ray. But I want to create more content, and I have a show that I developed that we have out to a network. So I just want to keep creating, evolving, and expanding the brand.
Yes, thank you so much, Jason. This concludes my interview. So I want to say thank you so much.